Yeah, we are in the place to be.
Hey, there we are, hitting all the wrong buttons here this morning. Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, January 26, 2021. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA's Spotlight this week, or the Spotlight program, I should say, is their Head Start program, which serves children in Burnett, Clark, Rusk, Sawyer, Taylor, and Washburn counties. Head Start helps children with school readiness and encourages parents to be active in their children's learning. The program also helps parents with their own education, literacy, and employment goals. Head Start provides services and information around areas such as education, health, nutrition, social, and more. Learn more about ICAA Head Start at IndianHeadCAA.org. That's IndianHeadCAA.org. Fitzy, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's happening?
Not much. So how are you?
I'm outstanding.
Why are you outstanding?
Because it's been like 2 weeks since we've chatted. And more importantly, the Packers lost.
Yeah.
So I'm in a good mood.
That's not a good deal for crime, though. I'm not. Crime didn't go up as much as I thought it would Sunday night, so I'm glad.
Actually, is that a thing?
Well, people are unhappy. There's a lot of Packer fans, and people get unhappy, and so yeah, it didn't. People held it together, and they're one game from the Super Bowl, so it was a good season.
Yeah, and a lot of people are freaking out, right? Because of the quote-unquote cryptic remarks from Aaron Rodgers. Man, what does my future hold? Come on, he's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
He's just
MVP to retired? Come on.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's been new with you? It's been a couple of weeks. What's going on?
We've been really busy here at the sheriff's office. We got lots of crimes and lots of stuff to talk about.
Hey.
And, other than that, just been doing hockey and enjoying the weather. It's been beautiful out, man. Tonight will be probably a negative for the first time in a long time, so I think since Christmas. And so we're at the end of January here, and the weather is just awesome. So that's something to be really positive about.
Yeah, I got a question about hockey.
Okay.
Why is, and I don't know how it works like locally, but in terms of like the NHL, when it comes to like how you rank them, it's not based on your winning percentage. It's based on points, right?
Right.
So a win, I think, is 2 points. A loss is no points. However, you get a point if you lose, but only in overtime. But you still get a point. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Because it's a tie.
Oh,
tie
so
gets you a point. There.
But if you lose in overtime, do you get a point?
Yeah, because you get the point for the tie.
But okay, so no matter what, if you lose, you don't get anything. Whether it's regular or like overtime and you lose.
No, you get a point.
But that's not a tie if you lose.
Yeah, but I think the other team gets a point. I don't really know.
No, you get 2 points if you win. It's just dumb because you could theoretically never win a game and just lose every game in overtime and have you're number one in the standings. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, and here's another thing about hockey. This is what they need to fix. It's the only sport that I can recall, at least in the 4 major sports, that you only get 1 point for every goal. Or like for any one play. Like basketball, you can get 1, 2, or 3. Football, what is that? 1, 2, 3, or 6. In baseball, even though technically it's just 1 run is 1 point, but you can get 1, 2, 3, or 4 runs in 1 play, depending on how many people are on base. Hockey needs to have the ability to get more than 1 point per goal. That's what they should do.
I think we'll leave hockey alone. It's probably like 150 years old, and we're going to change it on the Dryden Wire show.
I'm just saying.
Right. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Right, like the last 2 minutes of each period, each goal is worth 2 points. They could do that.
Right.
No?
Oh, all right. Let's send it to the commissioner.
Oh, somebody noticed a bear shirt. What? See?
That's not so positive. Yeah.
It is for me.
Sorry, Jody. I'm trying to carry the show, and then he always comes in and Anyway,
All right.
let's
Yeah.
talk crime.
Let's talk crime. So let's go because we want to go through all the annual budget. We do this every year. You and I go through it. This is the first time doing it on our Ben and Fitzy show or your annual report. But let's quick go through. Since it's been a couple of weeks, we've had some recent either articles or press releases regarding Barron County and crime. First one is this is just the headlines from us. Chetek police in Barron County Sheriff squads damaged during chase and apprehension of suspect. That was just yesterday. What can you tell us about that?
That was on Saturday night. We had a subject that was suspected of harassing or sort of a domestic abuse situation, harassment, stalking situation, and fled from officers. We let him go because his driving was too dangerous, and then he came back into town and did some things, and basically we started to attempt to stop him again. He ran into our squad car. Then he got pitted, which is a maneuver we use at a low speed where a front bumper of our car hits the back end of your car and we spin you around. That's a training technique that we use at low speeds to stop vehicles in situations where there's no traffic, no people, things like that. There's all these circumstances go into play with it because it's a use of force situation. So we smashed up the front of our squad car doing that. And when he did that, he smashed into the Chetek squad car. He kind of rammed them. So yeah, this guy was arrested for OWI, fleeing, a couple other things, and he's got to get some help.
So how much? I'm assuming these like squads go to, the shop, right?
Right.
So are you like down one? Or are you just using someone's using a personal vehicle to go around and put a light on top? Yeah.
Right. We had the bubble on top of our car, and we just.
Or does somebody get a week off of work until it's fixed?
We use a bicycle, and we have we have an extra car. Our transport car will be used, and but yeah, it right now parts are hard to come by, and so because there's still backlogs from coronavirus, so it's really tough to get squad cars fixed and damaged at repair shops. It's taken a lot longer just to get parts in during that. We ordered a new squad. It's taken us longer to get new squads. It's taken us longer to get parts for that. So it really takes us down a squad car. Now, luckily, this one's drivable, so we'll be able to drive it until the parts come in. But sometimes they're not drivable, and that takes us down a whole squad car for a month and a half sometimes.
Real quick, because I know we want to. Obviously, this annual report, it takes us a while to kind of go through some of these, and I'm really excited about it. And I've literally not even gone through it. I kind of want to go over it with you or have you go over it so I can actually see all these things for the first time. But do you practice that maneuver? And if so, how do you practice on another car? I mean, that's going to take damage. How do you practice that? What is it called? Pitting?
Yeah, pitting. It's a training that we did through the CVTC. All of our deputies are trained in that, and actually you practice. They have two cars that they use, and I don't remember if they had special something on them, grading, but you actually practice doing it, and it has to meet a policy and certain speeds. And like I said, no traffic, no people, but we go down, there's a track down in Eau Claire, and we go down and practice and get certified in it.
Now, can anyone take that course?
No.
No. That figures. Oh, you guys get all the fun stuff.
Yeah, all the fun, all the time. That's all we do is have fun.
All right, here's another one. This is, again, it was just our headline. Sheriff calling drugs suspected as contributing factor in single vehicle crash. Do you recall that one?
Yes, I do. That one was a serious car crash where a truck hit a tree down by the Chetek area. The driver of that truck is suspected of having some sort of illegal substance in her system. And that is... we have to wait for the blood results to come back. So no charges have been filed. No one's been arrested. Obviously, everybody's very seriously injured in that. So they're also, I believe, still all in the hospital. I'm not 100% sure on that. But when the blood results come back, the district attorney will read those results and then more than likely charge the driver with whatever the drug is in the system.
Sure. Another one here, because we had four of them because it's been 2 weeks. Man charged following, now this one is Washburn, but it had to do with Barron County. Man charged following Washburn County undercover online sexting operation. I believe the individual is from Rice Lake. If I recall, when I did the article, I even linked in a press release from the Rice Lake Police Department. So this really isn't under the sheriff's purview, I suppose, but anything that you want to add there?
Well, I'm just, again, congratulations to the Washburn County Sheriff's Department. Those are tough. I know Rice Lake PD has done a lot of those cases. The undercover operations take a lot of time and effort. So, good job to the Washburn County Sheriff's Department. He's a local Rice Lake person who's been arrested a few times for stalking, domestic abuse, things like that. So, and now they have him for a new charge. So, great job by them to do that, and that's our job, is to keep trying to get these people help, but at the same time sometimes we have to arrest them and do what we have to do to keep the people safe.
Yeah. And the last one here is authorities execute multiple search warrants, 2 arrested, 1 on the run. That was, I think it was shortly after our last show. That was almost 2 weeks ago. Is there any updates on that?
No, we're still looking for the one subject, but we've been really busy that week. After that show, we did a search warrant that night. And we did another one that week of. Our SWAT team's been out twice now, serving multiple search warrants for burglaries, some drugs. Drugs and burglaries have been really keeping us busy the month of January. We did a drug search warrant over in Rusk County with our SWAT team, and we served our 2 search warrants simultaneously for the stolen merchandise. Recovered all the stolen merchandise from stolen trailer theft over at one of the sand plants. And so, yeah, we've been recovering everything, getting drugs, catching bad guys. So it's been a really busy and productive month for the Sheriff's Department, but it keeps going.
Yeah. Someone had a question here, and actually, and you can, not talk about it, whatever. But I just wanted to, what happened at Quick Trip. So just from our side, so someone had sent several pictures. Actually, several people had sent some pictures of what was happening there. We had heard that it was potentially a suicide, and just so everybody knows, if they didn't know before, we don't do stories on suicides. We just don't. If there is a press release from law enforcement, we'll certainly publish that as is, but we do not get into that. And I've had to reply to a lot of people because a lot of people wanted to know what was going on, and I don't know what was going on, but as soon as I heard that word and even the possibility of that, we left it alone. So that's just from our side. Is there anything that you want to add to any of this?
Yeah, obviously it's not our case. We were there assisting Rice Lake PD with that case, and I know the family, and it's a tragic event, and just my heart goes out to the family of the suspect or the person that was deceased inside Quick Trip, and I think we'll just leave it at that, and people can fill in the blank. But you're right, we don't do press releases on suicides either. For the most part, but we do let people know that they're safe, and if there's a large police presence or whatever it is like that. So we do let people know when they need to be safe, and feel free to call and ask. If you live by somewhere where there's a lot of police presence, we don't mind. We try to get that information out, but a lot of times we get busy. It reminds us, hey, we better get something out to the neighbors and saying everything's okay. It was an isolated incident at the Quick Trip. Everything's fine. And again, our hearts go out to the family of that person. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, jeepers. I don't even know where you go with that.
It just sucks, and you just keep going with it, and that's what our deputies and our officers have to deal with. I think and that's a number I didn't put in our annual report. It'll be a good segue, but I don't have the number of suicides yet that happened in Barron County. I think they're up just slightly. But even one of my guys mentioned to me last night when we were having a meeting, he says, boy, it seems like we're seeing more suicides in the county. And I said, that's something to be aware of. And we're asking for that number. And if you know somebody that's out there that's in need, we have services that are out there for people to help them. We have a crisis line. We have a lot of different things to help people. So don't be afraid to reach out, because you don't want to deal with the back end of this. We want to deal with it on the front end. So reach out and make a difference in someone's life today if you see someone struggling.
All right, and that is, excuse me, that is a good segue. So we want to get into the annual report. I got it printed here. You're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA's Spotlight program this week is their Head Start program, which serves children in Burnett, Clark, Rusk, Taylor, Sawyer, and Washburn counties. Head Start helps children with school readiness and encourages parents to be active in their children's learning. The program also helps parents with their own education, literacy, and employment goals. Head Start provides services and information around areas such as education, health, nutrition, social, and more. Learn more about ICAA's Head Start at IndianHeadCAA.org. All right, I got my thing up here,
Yep.
my printed sheet. Mine's not in color now because I don't have taxpayers paying for my printers. Mine's black and white.
Okay.
So if you reference anything in color, I won't be able, I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow. I'm giving back money this year, so
Attaboy.
Sheriff's Department did really good.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so where do you want to start? I don't know. And by the way, this report. We'll probably tell this works. I'm sure most people are tell what we're looking at because most people probably just don't have this printed in front of them. But you can also find this on our website. We put it up yesterday, just on drydenwire.com. Excuse me. So where would you like to start?
Well, we start with all of our major cases, and that's something to do. It just, obviously 2020 is somewhat summed up in one word. That's called COVID. It took its toll on its department. It still is. We still have a couple of people out with COVID right now. But we've done some, with the limited staff or people being out, we've done a really good job and solved some major cases. It started in January when we identified the bones from 30 years ago with the help of DCI and the DNA Doe Project. In June, they again helped us identify some bones, which led to the arrest over in Minnesota of a son and a mother for killing the husband and father. And we had a murder in Chautauqua in June. We helped with another murder case in the city of Barron in December. We handled traffic fatalities, safer at home issues. We had some large fraud cases, the A1 mobile home fraud case. And there's new projects. We didn't get a lot of PR. We're very big on prevention. I think prevention was down. Our prevention efforts were down because our prevention people had to do COVID stuff, both from the Sheriff's Department end and to the public health end. They've been really good partners. We have great partnerships in Barron County with a lot of different agencies and people, and everybody was busy with COVID. So prevention went down, and you'll see that in our numbers and reflected. And I think that's the biggest thing as takeaway from this report is the only crimes that are really up are drugs and alcohol related crimes. You'll look at our numbers. We'll talk about domestics and things like that are down. Those are up, and that's our prevention efforts. From underage drinking to OWIs to drug cases are all up, and that's our prevention efforts. So if our prevention efforts were where they were a year ago, 2 years ago, I think our numbers drop even more. And but obviously it was safer at home. It was a really odd year for numbers. You'll see some huge drops in some numbers, and you'll see some that stayed the same. And so that's what we look at and compare to previous years. And in this report, there's a 5-year comparison, so you can look back at the 5 years of stats for the Sheriff's Department to see what we do. And we monitor that throughout the year, and we do that. So,
and by the way, real quick, thank you for doing this. I mean, it's just I look forward to it every year. I wish everybody would do this. I don't think it's necessarily transparency, but that's fine too if you want to call it that, because there certainly is. Like your first thing right here is your budget. You're to budget in. So, I mean, that's good information. I don't know if you necessarily have to go to a meeting or a committee meeting or a board meeting to go over this stuff or to see it. The fact that you take this, compile it all, and then actually send that out, I'm just saying that's incredible, and I think it's important, which is why we wanted to take this time to actually go over this during our show, because this stuff's important, man. You should really know, especially with that 5-year and look, especially with COVID as well. These numbers are important. You should know, in this case, Barron County, where the trends are, what's going up, what isn't, what we can all do to help. So your first line item here is budget in. It says $8.35 million.
Right. That's our budget in 2020. It was $8.35 million. Our personnel went up too. We added a part-time person in the jail. I'm sorry, in the patrol division,
Mhm.
and that other increase was in the dispatch. We kept a part-time person on. We had a person quit from our full-time slot, but stayed on it as a temporary employee with us and helped us out. So that's why you see that increase in two. It really, there's no cost. It just saves us overtime, those two positions. So it was
Yeah.
great. Obviously, your budget goes up every year with cost of living and
Yeah.
insurance and all that other stuff. This year we budgeted for a new person in 2021, so we have a new full-time rec officer. But we set some goals for 2021, and that's to continue to work on our citizen action and advisory team. They met last night, had some great discussion about how to solve the embrace issue. And so we're going to work towards a better solution for that. And they've given a lot of input on that citizen action team, and we're still working on that issue. It hasn't gone away. Hopefully it's better, but the victims are still being served. I actually sent an email out to Brittany from Embrace, Ben, and she's got some ideas on how to make restraining orders better. And I agree with her 100%. We need to make that process better in Barron County. And so we're going to try to meet up and talk about how to get the restraining orders better in Barron County, because I think that's a weak link, and hopefully they got some great ideas and we can make that better for victims in Barron County.
Nice.
We're going to continue to monitor a recreational officer. That's a full-time position now. He's been teaching a lot. The snowmobile trails are not open, so I think that's another thing that we want. The groomers were out yesterday with the new snow, getting a better pack down for us, but just because the groomer went down the trail doesn't mean it's open. So please stay off our trails. Our people and our landowners need to have their fields safe, and we need a good pack down of snow. Otherwise, the farmers aren't going to let us on their fields, because we don't want to tear up their fields. So if we lose landowners from snowmobile trails, that's a big deal. We have hundreds of miles of snowmobile trails given to us by landowners, and landowners are very important. And so Jeff Wolf, our recreational officer, works with landowners, but he's teaching a lot of snowmobile safety right in the classrooms this year. We're teaching a couple classes of snowmobile safety, because you have to have it to ride on the trails. If you're under the age of 16, over the age of 16, you can do it online, but under 16, you have to have it. So we're doing a lot of classes online, and that's what I love. That's the proactive policing that we do here at the Sheriff's Department. We do a lot of stuff inside the classroom and try to get in the classrooms as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking to expand our jail program. Very excited about this. We're looking at some new ways to get programs into the jail. Talking about Embrace, where they used to do a program in our jail through COVID. We couldn't do it. Well, hopefully we're going to get them back and have them tape their program, watching on an iPad or something like that. We're working on some different ways to get it individualized to the inmate. So we're working on expanding our jail program to help people when they come to jail. We installed a new body scanner in the jail, just like at the airport. We got a COVID grant for that, and so now we don't have to touch the inmate when they come in. We can send them through a body scanner. It shows everything. It was just installed last week. It's really cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, just like the airport. So, I mean, it's not one of them where you stand up.
Yeah,
like
that's
this.
a bad. You don't want to compare that. That's bad.
Yeah.
Anytime you compare it to an airport, it's
we're way better than the airport.
Okay.
So we bought a new training program, which is online training, called Police One. We're doing a bunch of online training because of COVID. It's tough to get out. Training isn't there, so we bought that. And we want to get back and be involved in the community. That's the number one goal of mine. So we're very excited with our goals and our cases. And 2020 was a bad year because of COVID, but a lot of good things came out of it. And, that's why we started Positive Tuesday during COVID, because we got tired of all the bad in the world, and we've got to do something to make a difference.
Yeah. And real quick note, you don't even have to, it'll only cost you $50 or maybe $60 for the game. But when it comes to pitting, yeah, you can just buy Grand Theft Auto and just everyone can just sit and play that, and you can learn how to spin those cars.
But that's COVID. That's our new training. We have an Xbox set up and we train. No, I'm just kidding. We don't do that.
All right, I'm just trying to save you some money and keep the training.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. All right, so accidents I see here in 2016, 338, 2017, 373, so a little bit up. 2018, it went down a little to 350-ish. 2019, 360. So it's all about the same. And then it went down a little bit in accidents. I'm assuming that's just due to fewer people on the road, right? But it's staying about the same.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I thought accidents would be down a lot more.
Me too.
Because I thought there was less people on the roads. But it's only down 22. It's not a big difference.
But 3 less fatalities.
Yes.
So,
Yes, three less fatalities in the sheriff's department, which is a great thing. Again, four is a lot still, so we can't have it. But
yeah.
yeah, last year we had seven fatalities,
Mm.
so that's down. We just need to buckle up and wear your seatbelt, and don't drink and drive, and we'll make sure everybody gets home safe.
Sure.
OWIs, you'd think they would be down because if you
Actually,
look
how
at
about this? I'm not going to look anymore. You,
okay,
you 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 tell me what the next one is, and I'm going to tell you if it went up or down.
okay, traffic stops.
Wait, hold on. We had OWIs.
Well, I want to do traffic stops
Okay.
first because I want to
Gee,
show you something.
fine. I want to do
Traffic.
traffic.
Whose show is this? Oh wait,
All right, go ahead.
traffic stops
Up or down? Traffic stops down.
down. How many you think?
Percent. How many was it last year?
Last year was 2,189.
It's at 1,800 this year, or for last year.
1,318.
Sheepers, that's way down.
Yeah, and that's specific. We had our people stopping less cars, major violations only. Citations was only down 157, but that's why I want to show you traffic stops went down a lot.
Mhm.
You'd think OWIs should have been down quite a bit then. Actually, and I gave that one away.
I say, I think
Say up, Ben.
OWIs I think went up.
Up by two. Only two.
That
which
doesn't
is good.
surprise me, actually. And honestly, I probably would have said up simply because we've seen the numbers. More people were at home, but drinking went up significantly for people that were at home. I would have actually guessed, I think it went up. Or at the least stayed the same.
Well, and it only went up too, so that's good. I met with the Rice Lake Police Department the other day, and theirs went up quite a bit also. And so I just think that, but the number of traffic stops went down, but the OWIs went up, and there should be some similar proportion there, and it's not at all. So a lot of people sat at home and then got drunk and then drove around for a while, must have got bored or whatever. But surprisingly, just out of that, the youngest person was 14. The oldest person was 66.
Somebody was driving at 14?
Uh-huh.
So
there's a couple issues there.
Yeah, say that's okay. That's interesting.
We caught one on the boat. The DNR had several boating OWIs, and we had two OWIs on the ATV.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So just this one, you don't get the guess because this one wouldn't help you. But we did a lot with a recreational officer, a lot more patrol on the boat, in the water, and on the ATV. That's all up. The number of hours of contacts is up. The number of times we were in the classroom with students is up. That's all great prevention efforts on our part. Total cases in Barron County last year was 1,112. Up or down?
Total case down.
Up 64. Not so. Again, I would have guessed with you the proportion of traffic stops are down would mean less cases, but cases went up 64. Pretty average. Still the low. A 3 or 5 year average is still pretty low. It used to be in the 1,300s. Now it's down to 1,176. So still down or still up just a little bit over last year, but nothing. But again, with COVID, I would have thought it would have been down just a tad.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I'm not doing well so far.
Yeah, you're not winning.
No.
Paper service. This would be papers we serve, restraining orders, things like that. Last year was 1,241.
I don't even know what that stuff means, so I'm just going to say it stayed the same within 50. So plus or minus 50, it's in there.
Yeah, plus or minus 45, minus 45.
Okay.
That's like restraining orders, harassment injunctions. Anytime we serve, we have a guy that serves papers. Anytime you file a paperwork with the court, it needs to be served to the person in person so that they know they got it. Here's one that you can guess. Dispatch calls. These are the number of 911 calls into dispatch. Last year, we averaged 37.9 per day or 13,000.
Now, hold on. When you say last year, you meant 2019, right?
Yes, 2019.
Okay. 2019, you averaged what?
37.9 per day or 13,855 911 calls.
It's down.
It's up 99. So 38.2, just a tad up 100. again, would consider that the other thing, but maybe more people were home and calling in on their neighbors. I don't know. Maybe we had a bunch of, well, it's safer at home. Maybe we had a bunch of people
That's
calling in and
true.
say,
Yeah,
I
my
got 8
neighbors.
cars in their driveway.
The grass is 3 inches tall. Send out the SWAT team.
That's right. So how many total CADs? A CAD is a computer-aided dispatch. That's how we look at every time you call in a barking dog, it's a CAD.
Well,
A
that would go up if 911 calls went up, so it'd have to be reflective of that. So it would be up.
No, because 911 calls is only one source of way we get our information. If you have a non-emergency line that comes in, or 537-3106, that's non-emergency.
Okay.
So our total CADs, and remember, traffic stops are down, so every traffic stop is
I get it.
that's a CAD. So you got to put
I
it
want
all
to change my
together.
answer.
Okay,
Down.
3,467. So we went from 108 calls, or 108 CADs per day to 99. So
Okay.
not a huge drop, but a few per day.
Sure.
About 8 less per day.
Okay.
So that is the lowest of our 5-year average.
Wow.
It's been steadily, and we got a new system 2 years ago. So domestic abuse is in Barron County. 429 in 2000. I'm sorry, 480 in 2019.
Domestics with people all at home and drinking? Would go, yeah, that's gone up. Or stayed the same. I know those are two answers. No, okay, fine. They've gone up.
No, it hasn't.
What? I mean, that's good, but
Right.
obviously, it's not like I'm disappointed. Right. But what? That's how much did it go down?
145 less domestic abuse calls. That's amazing. I agree with you 100%.
Holy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good. I think people, really either went for a walk or, the weather's been better. So even staying at home, people could get outside. I'm not sure what it is. I'll give credit to Embrace. I think they've helped some people so that we didn't have repeat callers. I think that's worked. But there's been less. So, and that's every kind of domestic call. Not every domestic call goes to Embrace. Not every domestic call even has an officer respond to. It might be a verbal.
Sure.
I'm sure most have an officer respond to it, but it might be a verbal call. It might be, but they've gone down a lot. So that was great. I was really happy to see that.
Yeah.
I think people made good decisions, but I think we really pushed that.
Yeah.
I think that's something we talked about since Stay for at Home
Yeah,
started.
we've been a lot.
Be smart, take a walk, go outside, don't drink a lot. Obviously it didn't help with their alcohol, but we really concentrated on domestics and really, worked on that with Safer at Home.
And obviously, like all these numbers, they're still too high.
Right.
But wow, that is, I mean, as positive as you can possibly be with a negative situation, that is outstanding news.
Right. That is great. The people of Barron County did a great job.
Yeah.
So our drug cases, this is a big chart in here. We'll just look at the total cases just to look at that. In 2019, we had 122 total cases. That would be possession of meth, possession of drug paraphernalia, marijuana, heroin, THC, any kind of drug case. 122 in 2019. So 2020 is what?
Hold on. So, what are they? Heroin, THC, meth? Is it broken down?
Any drug case that we have, any kind of drug case.
Drug cases, drugs aren't going up. They went up.
Mm-hmm. Not by a lot, but 25.
Okay.
But this is our biggest. It wasn't our biggest year of the last 5. So, 147 drug cases. That's up 25. I'm trying to see here as I look at this little chart to see which.
Does it break it down by drug?
Yep, we have a delivery of meth went up quite a bit. We went from 16 cases to 42. So that was one of our largest increases was the delivery of meth charge. And I can tell you this month has been really good really good for us. We've had a big year.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I know what you mean.
We've been really busy with meth cases right now. The first part of the year.
Well, and that actually is good, right? I mean, it is, even though it's like, well, it's bad because there's meth, but that's good that you are, because it's scarier to me when it's like, we had nothing going on with meth right now. Yeah, meth's still out there. That means you just haven't found it yet.
Right. So you're exactly right. And so we've had a good year already. It's been very busy when it comes to meth, and that gets tied to our burglaries,
Mm.
which again is the reason why most of our burglaries happen is because of the meth cases. So
What
just
about?
checking.
Oh, you
Go
getting a
ahead.
call?
No, I was looking at the questions to see if we had anything.
Oh, I don't think so.
Nothing. No.
Nothing. No one has a question at all. That's right. Pot, because that's always a fun topic to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about.
yeah. Somebody commented on that, right?
Oh, they
On some
did?
post. No,
Oh,
remember on one of our posts, one of
yeah.
your stories, and somebody said, if we legalize pot, cops wouldn't have nothing to do or
Sure.
something,
So let's see if that's true. So all of the what was it? 122 you said.
147.
140. Why do I have two different numbers?
Well, that was the last year. Remember, you were trying
Oh,
to
I
get.
see. Okay, so the 147.
Yep.
How many was for I don't know, selling pot or something?
Possession of marijuana was 17.
That's it.
And yeah, that's it. So, if you look at our meth cases, were delivery of meth was 42, delivery of marijuana was 8. So a lot more people are selling meth than marijuana. So yeah, if you legalize marijuana, we're still going to have a
Yeah,
problem.
it doesn't sound like you're gonna have a lot of free time after they legalize it. I mean, goodness.
Eight less cases in Barron County. So,
That's
that
great.
does not. That doesn't include anybody that got a citation for possession of marijuana. That wouldn't be in this number. These are drug cases by our drug unit only.
Sure.
So let's look at the jail. How many bookings in the jail?
Well, that's got to be down.
Oh yeah. We had 1,877 in 2019. Last year we only had 945. We were down 900 people less in jail.
Well, that's a half. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and one is our Huber inmates. We kept Huber out of the jail, so they're on the ankle monitor, which the ankle monitor monitors their location and their alcohol intake. Plus, we do random drug testing on our Huber inmates. So
my wife wants to get one of those for me.
You'd fail. You'd be in jail.
Monitor my location.
Not the
alcohol
drug part. Right. So
see, you guys get all the cool stuff.
You know where you are. Yeah. So that was a reason why we didn't take a lot of inmates from other counties. That would reduce our numbers because they got rid of their Huber inmates, which allowed them to have a few more spaces, like the Washburn, the Burnett's, the Sawyers.
Sure.
We work with them really closely. And obviously we didn't do book and releases. So if you got arrested for a bar fight, a lot of times we'd bring you to jail, book you in, and you'd have somebody sober come and get you. We quit doing that during COVID because that was just too much people in and out of the jail for COVID safety purposes. So we stopped doing that.
So what did you do instead?
They go to the local police department and we call for a ride, or we give them a ticket and we release them. It's probably a better way to do it anyway. If you look at COVID, the court system changed. There's a lot of goods that come out of COVID. We looked at some of our book and releases. I don't know that we'll bring that back. Our Huber system is working very well and keeping families together. So that's a big positive, I think, that come out of it. I know some people don't like it but it's the minor crimes. We're not putting anybody out on sexual assault crimes on Huber. It's minor offenses, maybe OWI second or third or something like that. We're putting those people out on the monitor. They get to sleep at their house, be with their family. We're keeping track of them. Again, they're on an alcohol monitor. They're monitored randomly for drugs. But it's keeping families together. And I think that's another big positive that came out of COVID. A lot of changes in operations. And we're going to have a meeting here at the county probably in April-ish about some of the things that COVID brought that were good. What didn't work? What are we going to bring back? What are we not going to bring back? Because, COVID's going to be over someday. It's going to take a while yet. I'm not saying COVID's over and everybody should stop wearing masks and going out and you should still get your shots and do all that stuff. And I know there's a big thing on that. So just relax, everybody. You don't have to go get a shot if you don't want to. But there's a lot of good that came out of COVID. We're going to look at that and continue to look at that.
Okay.
Underage drinking.
Well, we've had a few conversations about some parties. And I don't know how many people have those. Excuse me. I don't know how many of those actually got citations, but I know of two at least.
Everybody gets a citation.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say up.
Yeah, up 12. I'm sorry, 111 underage drinking from 99.
Wow.
So up 12. Again.
What would you contribute that to? Because that can't be a COVID thing. It's not like kids are at home. I'm at home from school, remote learning. Might as well have a beer. I mean, you're 16. So what would you contribute that to?
I don't know. I went to the high school the other day and talked to some kids at a drug class, and I asked them this question, and they couldn't give me an answer. But I'm really curious to find out because the age of our citations dropped. The age was more of a 19-ish kids, which you understand a little bit more. But our age dropped to a lot of these ones. The last 18 citations we gave were to 16 and 17-year-olds and some 15-year-olds. So the age dropped, which I'm a little fearful of, and and they were all athletes too, which is kind of odd because usually the athletic code, it kind of hangs above you. You use that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that had some concerns to me. So I haven't quite narrowed that one down yet, and I'll get to that one. I have our school officers working on that idea, how to change that a little bit. Do we need to sharpen our pencil on the athletic code and change it a little bit or do something like that? So again, that's what this report will get us, is some changes, good and bad.
Sure.
SWAT team call-outs. We had 11 in 2019.
Oh, that's a tough one then. Wait, give me the last 4 years.
11, 5, 1, and 8. All over the board.
You know what? We're going to come back to that one. Anyone that's watching right now, put in what you think. So I don't have the answer. Obviously, Fitzy, you do. If you're watching right now, put in the comments, where do you think it was? Fitzy, would you go over that again? This is for SWAT team callouts in the last 4 years from 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 were?
8, 1, 5, 11. So it starts in 2016 with 8. 17, we only had 1. 18, we had 5. And 19, we had 11.
All right, we'll come back to that one.
Okay.
All right.
And really, that's kind of the end of our report. We had grants. We still did some grant work and still got some stuff. We've got some decontamination devices to decontaminate our squads through COVID. We got some grants like that. There's another report in your, it's our emergency services report. This comes from our emergency services director. This talks about a lot of different things in our department that we do county-wide. Fire departments, EMS, equipment, disasters, awards, and then it talks about how many fire calls each fire department went on, each police department.
Yeah, that one's a little longer.
Yeah, that one's a lot longer. There's a lot of different things in there. How many, traffic stops county-wide. It doesn't do a comparison of the previous years, but it just tells you about this year. So, ambulance calls and fire calls went up because of COVID, because they did a lot of assisting. There's a lot of guesses.
Yeah, I'm just trying to write some of these down. Barb, less than 11. Well, that doesn't. You got to pick a number, Barb. Between 2 and 20. So EMS and fire calls gone up slightly. They were assisting with COVID calls, so that's why you see an increase in that. Law enforcement calls as a general went down in 2020 across the county. Every department was down some calls. From 2,000 for us to the next biggest, the Rice Lake PD is the next. They had less 600 calls. Barron PD, Turtle Lake PD, Chautauqua, all down a few calls as a whole. And again, that's probably COVID related, traffic stops, things like that. So that report is available both on our website and on your website. Yeah, dreadandwhite.com. We put that up yesterday. I'm sorry, you said it was on your website too?
Yeah, we have a website too, yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. All right. Well, we're
in the 21st century. We have a website. It's shared about BarronSheriff.org.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't do ChrisFitzgerald.org. Good luck to the next sheriff. All right, so
go to our website and you can see us at ChrisFitzgerald.org.
.org is the best part of that. You're an organization now.
That's right.
All right, so it looks like some of the guesses we have several for 3. I think that was, or 4. That was the most common one. A couple for 5, a 6, 3, 7, and a 15. Now that Darlene, she put in 15. I feel like she knows something. I really do, because that's way different than everybody else's numbers. I wonder if she looked ahead. So that's giving me pause. I'm actually going to go with 15. I'm going to agree with Darlene at 15, because that is it's got to be 15.
It's not.
Or 4.
It's 2020. We had 5.
Oh,
I don't even think anybody gave.
Down 5, less than 5. Yep, Carla. She had 5.
She had 5. We had
maybe that was
2 high-risk search warrants, 2 suicidal or barricaded persons with firearms, and we had a wooded search. So we were down 6 calls for our SWAT team. Although this year we've already had 2 call-outs, so we'll see what the number is next year.
I'm going to remember
that. Hopefully it stands at 2. I highly doubt it, but that team is available to us. But I'm very happy with our annual report. Very excited. The men and women of the Barron County Sheriff's Department, from the jail dispatch patrol, and the detectives did an unbelievable job to get us through COVID. I mean, while we're not done yet, we see some light at the end of the tunnel. They still did their jobs even through COVID, and they had a heck of a year. And so, very proud of our stats. Very proud of our department. I love to brag about them, and I continue to say I have the best crew around. We get a lot of support from our police chiefs. We work together really closely with all of our chiefs. All of our departments work very well together, and we do. They do a great job with us. They help us out a lot. We help them out. That's how it should be. And we couldn't do it with all of them. They support us just like we support them. And so, thanks to all of them. And then it goes to the citizens of Barron County for keeping us up there and supporting us and giving us the high fives when we need to and the support when we need to. So, again, thanks to the citizens of Barron County for all they have done for law enforcement.
And again, thank you for not only providing this information to the public, but also, talking about it during the show. Last question, just kind of wrap this up, because now I actually want to go through and look at a lot more of these numbers. And yeah, I did terribly. So good thing we didn't put any money on this, because I would have lost everything. But what was your biggest takeaway from all this? Not one specific thing of this went up and I was surprised. We kind of went through some of those. But overall, I hate cliches, but at the end of the day, you look at these numbers, and granted we went through a very challenging, or certainly a unique year last year. When you look at all of this, what's your biggest takeaway collectively?
Two things. One, I thought the numbers would be down a little bit more than I thought they were. So I thought they would be down. It seems like sometimes we were really slow, but then, some weeks we must have been really busy. And so I think if you looked at it from a week long, you'd see some huge spikes in it if we put it on a bar graph. The second thing is prevention works. And I'm big on prevention. I'm big on the community policing efforts. And we didn't get to do that. We had no festivals, no fairs, no nothing. We're bringing all that back in 2020 in a safe way. In 2021, we're bringing it back in a safe way. We're going to be everywhere we can be. We're going to do a lot more education. We're back in the schools doing what we need to be doing there. Education works, prevention works. And little things make a big difference. So the little things we talk about on this show, why we started this show, everything shows in this report. And I think that's what's really key about this. And it's a collaborative effort from a community to law enforcement officers. That's the only way this works. And we do a hell of a job here.
Yeah. Thank you for everything you guys do. Thank you for everyone with all of their comments in here as well, and some of their guesses. Fitzy, any last words? Anything going on this week? The Barron County Sheriff's Department?
I don't
busting
think
bad
so.
guys?
Yeah, we're going to try to catch one more bad guy this week. So if you're on the list, you're going to work on it.
Just one more and we can all go home.
That's right. Free toaster at the end of the week, whoever gets the one bad guy. They have those, we tag a fish and, no, I'm just kidding. We don't have that. We don't have quotas. I don't want anybody to think that. Sure, I got quoted again. Here I go.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to pull this clip out and I'm going to put it on YouTube, just this one part. With a sensationalistic headline. That's going to be fantastic. Yeah, Fitzy, thanks so much, man.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA's spotlight this week is their Head Start program, which serves children in Burnett, Clark, Rusk, Sawyer, Taylor, and Washburn counties. Head Start helps children with school readiness and encourages parents to be active in their children's learning. The program also helps parents with their own education, literacy, and employment goals. Head Start provides services and information around areas such as education, health, nutrition, social, and more. To learn more about ICAA Head Start, check them out at IndianHeadCAA.org. Thank you for watching. So until next week, stay safe, keep your social distance, and as always, have a blessed day.